Okay, I put the truck up on the lift, and I've had a chance to look some things over. And I'll tell you what, I'm feeling pretty blessed right now because I have been watching a lot of videos of guys getting started like I am right now and getting ready to take that bed off of there. And I've been watching guys cut bolts off and heat bolts up and just struggle to get them out of there. And believe it or not, I was able to take all 8 of the nuts off. Well, there's 7 nuts and then 1. So here's all the stuff right here. So this is what the nuts look like, and it's 50 years old. And then this, the second on the passenger side, the second one from the back was screwed in from the top, and it's like a big machine screw, and it had a Phillips head in it. And I was able to get all this apart just with hand tools. So I had to hit this thing with a just impact driver, and it started turning, and I was turning it with a big screwdriver, and it was turning hard. And I got the idea that I could put an impact gun on there, and you can see what happened to that. So fortunately, I was still able to get that big screwdriver in there and turn it a few more turns, and then I was just able to get a hold of that big flange right there with a pipe wrench and just spun it right out. But so it had that, the 1 bolt in it, and then it had 7. I dropped a couple of them, obviously, or it wouldn't be right, but it had 7 of these nuts on there, and all of them came off. Okay, so that is the front one on the passenger side, and that one was spinning, and so was that one up there. And so all I did was I just lowered the truck back down, and I welded their carriage bolts, and they were just round tops, and I couldn't get a hold of them with anything very well. So I just put a couple spot welds on them, welded them right to the bed up there, and then came down here and was able to turn those last 2 out. I was looking, and the rockers are as clean as I remembered. You can see that, I mean, you can see the edges of the metal right there and everything. I mean, there's just, it's solid. This whole truck is just not that rusty at all. There is one spot that's going to need some work on this front right here. So it does, and we'll see how far up that A-pillar it goes, because as you can see, it's that front door, and obviously, I'm not Sherlock Holmes, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say that this front corner of the truck's been wrecked. What do you think? And so God only kind of knows what I'm going to find, like in that A-pillar right there. But obviously right here at the bottom of the A-pillar, where the A-pillar and the rocker come together, I got a little bit of a problem right there. Otherwise, everything is really solid. That looks really good on here. It's very encouraging to be under here. So like I say, for a 50-year-old truck, and there's not even any holes rusted through the bed. There was something that was mounted up here, because there's holes in it right there, and there was this funky cover on the outside of it, so I don't know what that was. And then there's a hose that I couldn't tell if it was just pinched between the bed and the box, and I couldn't get it out of there, but it turns out that thing comes down here and runs up forward into the engine bay. So I don't know if they had some kind of an auxiliary tank back there at one time or something. I do not know. But so everything is going right ahead, and so obviously the next thing is going to be I think it's dark out now, and it's 45 degrees outside, and I keep it about 60 here in the shop. So I think tomorrow morning I'll put the forks on the tractor and then come out here before I turn the furnace on and take that bed off. In the meantime, I think what I'm going to do right now, I've got a little while. My wife gets home from work about 7:45, and so it's only going on 5. So I think I'm going to tear the stuff out of the inside of that cab and start taking all that apart, and we'll continue on. Thanks for watching. All right, it's quarter to 11 at night, and I am whooped. I got quite a bit done. I pretty much got everything tore out of the inside and got it all cleaned out, and it's not nearly as gross as it was. I got it all pressure washed out. The only thing that's left in there is the seatbelt bolts. I was getting those out, and you'll see I broke the Torx bit off in that one, so they can stay there. I don't care. That whole floor's coming out. Fuel tank's got to come out. The bed is unbolted and ready to come off, so like I said before, I probably will get the forks on the tractor in the morning and get that bed off of there. And then the next thing to do, I think, will be to kind of start taking the front clip off, because it hangs off of the cab by these apron things here. So I'll get all that. I'll get all this unbolted tomorrow. Get all this pulled off. And then start working on those cab bolts. I hope they're not too bad. And so I've got some things to do tomorrow afternoon. I don't have a full day to work on this thing, but I'm going to try and get some things done. I'll come out early and start the furnace. Well, we'll see that hopefully by tomorrow, my goal is to kind of have the front of it off, the bed of it off, and well on my way to getting the cab off. So there's quite a bit of things that have to get unhooked to get the cab off, but I'd like to at least get the cab bolts out tomorrow and everything. And but it's coming right along. It's cool. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you joining. It's time to hit the shower, and I'll be back at this bright and early tomorrow. All right, it's 25 after 10 a.m. the next morning. I came out here around 5:30, I think, and turned the heat on. And then I had other things to do. I had to take an implement off the tractor before I brought it in here. I had to straighten one of those forks. I just got done doing that. The only thing I've done on the truck so far this morning is I just removed all of the bolts out of there. A couple of them were kind of stuck in there. You can see where I had to grind the welds of the two that I just put a spot weld on to keep them from spinning. And other than that, they came out pretty easy. There was one on the front on that side and one on the front on this side that were really kind of sticky and didn't want to come out, but all I did was just raise the bed up off of the frame and just slide a flat bar underneath the bolt so it couldn't get back in the hole, and just let the weight of the bed do it. So it all came out pretty easy. So I guess we'll get started and start working on getting this bed off of here. I've had this up on the lift again this morning. I've looked at a little bit on the body bolts on this, but once I get the bed off, I think I'll spray the body bolts. I got some other things I got to do today, so I'll probably spray those body bolts and let them soak for a little while. So I'm gonna get to work. All right, well, I got it warmed back up in here a little bit. That worked pretty slick. No major catastrophe like maybe you thought you were going to see. So I got the mess cleaned up on the floor from that bed. I've been soaking these cab bolts. There's your cab mounts, typical for these trucks. Always rotted out. The bolts don't look all that bad though. I got them cleaned up, and I've been soaking them in penetrating oil. So I'm just going to hit them with an impact gun just real quick and see if they loosen up. We'll see what happens. Nope. I didn't think so. Well, I'll call that a big no. That socket is now stuck on there. Well, we'll figure it out. Worst things have happened. All right, well, that's going to do it for me for today. It's only just a little bit after noon, but I need to go in and get something to eat. After that last video clip, I tried putting a giant bar on there, and those bolts are not coming. Those nuts are not going to break loose from those bolts. But it's no big deal because the floor is going away anyway. So I gave up on that. When the time comes that I'm going to pull that cab off, my plan is I'm just going to take the plasma cutter and cut around the heads of the bolts in there, because one of the first things that's going to happen to that thing is that whole floor's getting cut out. The body mount on this side, as you probably saw, it's way worse than the other side. The back two look good, but those front body mounts are really, really bad. The one on this side, I don't even think I need to worry about getting that bolt out. I think it would just come right off. So, well, I got things done anyway in the last couple days. It's good to be working on this project finally. That truck's been sitting outside my shop for almost 6 months. But it's fall, and this is going to be a good winter project. So thanks for joining. I sprayed up the bumper bracket bolts on the front and everything, because I think that's my next plan. Is I need to start, like I was talking about last night, I need to get that whole front clip off of there, and then get all the glass out of the cab and get everything off it, and we'll get that thing off of there and get that chassis pushed back outside so I can free my lift up. I've got things I need to do. It's time to put winter wheels and tires on some vehicles around here, so I need to free the lift up. Anyway, thanks again for joining, and stay tuned.